found myself here once again, beside the road we used to know. The evening moved through passing cars and softened every distant light. The street looked smaller than before. The signs had changed along the way, but something in the quiet air still felt exactly like those days. I knew each corner without thinking. I knew where you would slow your steps. I knew the light where we once waited, and all the words we never kept. I knew this road by heart before the memories found me. I heard your laughter in the distance, warm as it had always been. I knew this road by heart, and every step remembered you. We used to walk beneath these lights, with nowhere else we had to be. You spoke about your little dreams and trusted everyone to me. We watched the late buses passing, we counted windows in the dark. The world felt wider when you smiled, and warmer when you held my arm. I knew this road by heart, the way I once knew your voice. Every turn became a picture, every light became a choice. I knew this road by heart, but never knew where love would lead. Maybe places keep our stories after people move along. Maybe roads hold quiet echoes of every heart that once belonged. Every step brought you back to me, not with sorrow, not with pain, only like a gentle picture fading softly through the years. I knew this road by heart, so I let the memories stay. I walked beside our younger shadows until they slowly slipped away. I knew this road by heart, and smiled before I walked again.
You remember, you stood beneath the corner light, waiting for the final bus. The evening wind moved through your hair, while cars went passing by. I had seen you there before, but never found a word to say. That night you looked at me and smiled, as if we already knew. You asked me where I was going, I said I had no place in mind. You left and pointed down the road, then asked if I had time. You asked me where I was going, so I walked a while with you. The road was quiet around us, and every step felt First we talked about the weather, the traffic and the fading light. Then somehow all the smallest things kept us walking through the night. You told me about your favorite songs, I told you what I dreamed about. The city slowly disappeared whenever you looked at me. You asked me where I was going, I said that anywhere was fine, as long as you were walking there. I did not care about the time. You asked me where I was going and made the long road feel too short. Maybe love begins this simply, with one question and a smile. Two people walking without plans, then staying for a little while. I had nowhere, so I walked with you and found a place beside your heart. I never knew an ordinary night could change the way my story starts. You asked me where I was going, now every road reminds me of you. I still remember that first question and how my lonely answer changed. You asked me where I was going, I did not know it led to you.
The next evening, there you were, waiting underneath the corner light. You smiled and asked about my day, then started walking by my side. The quickest road was straight ahead, but neither one of us went there. You turned toward the quieter street, and I followed without a word. We talked about the smallest things, movie, music, summer plans. I barely noticed where we walked whenever you were close to me. I took the long way home with you, so the night would last much longer. Every turn became another chance to hear you laugh again. I took the long way home with you and wished the road would never end. The city settled into silence, the shops were closing one by one. We watched the last bus pass us and kept walking just for fun. Your shoulder brushed against my arm, you quickly looked the other way. I tried to hide my sudden smile and search for something else to say. I took the long way home with you, though I already knew the way. I let the distant lights guide us and hope that you might want to stay. I took the long way home with you, because goodbye felt much too soon. Maybe love begins in moments we never planned or understood. A slower walk, a warmer silence, a night that ends too soon. I knew the road but followed you. Anywhere your footsteps went, I only wanted one
Sometimes you came a little early, sometimes I waited by the light. We stopped asking where to wander, we simply followed where it led. The city moved around us slowly, and silence settled in between. I learned the rhythm of your footsteps, you learned the pauses in my voice. We never tried to fill the silence, being near you felt enough. We could walk in silence and still feel close somehow. No need to search for perfect words, no need to explain it now. We could walk in silence and let the night speak for us. Some evenings you look tired, so I slowed my steps for you. You smiled without a question, like you already understood. We shared a scarf in colder weather, we counted windows on the way. Nothing about those nights was special, yet I remember every day. We could walk in silence and hear our hearts grow light. The road was long, the world was busy, but everything with you felt right. We could walk in silence and never feel alone. Maybe love is simply knowing someone will match your pace. Even silence felt warm with you, softer than the passing lights. We could walk in silence and let the evening hold us. I never needed perfect words, I only needed you beside me. We could walk in silence, and I thought it would always last.
We reached the corner near your street. The night was warmer than before. You stopped beneath the quiet light and turned to smile at me. Nothing special had happened. We walked the way we always did, but something in that simple moment made the whole world feel still. You brushed the hair beside your eyes, then laughed at something small. I heard your voice inside the silence and forgot where we were. That was when I knew I wanted every road with you, every quiet night and morning, every ordinary day. That was when I knew my heart had already chosen you. You asked why I was smiling. I said I did not really know. I tried to hide the answer, but my eyes had let it show. We stood there longer than we needed, neither one unprepared to leave. The passing cars became a blur. Whenever you looked at me, that was when I knew I wanted time to move more slowly. I wanted all your tired stories and every dream you had. That was when I knew being near you felt like home. Maybe love does not arrive with sudden words or perfect signs. Maybe it grows inside the moments we almost leave behind. Nothing changed, but everything felt new. The road, the light, the evening air. You were standing where you always stood, but love was suddenly there. That was when I knew I would remember that small night. You smiled and slowly walked away while I stayed beneath the light. That was when I knew I had already fallen for you.
We walked out your usual street where neither one had gone before. The city lights grew small behind us as we followed the open road. You told me where you wanted to live, a quiet place beside the sea. You said you wanted morning sunlight and room enough to breathe. I spoke about the things I wanted, the work I hoped someday to do. You listened like my smallest dream was something worth believing. We talked about tomorrow as if it waited just ahead. We named the places we might visit and all the roads we had not seen. We talked about tomorrow, and I could see myself with you. You wanted walls filled up with pictures, I wanted music in every room. You laughed and said we needed windows to let in all the afternoon. We did not make a single promise, we did not need to plan it all, but every word became a doorway to a life beyond that road. We talked about tomorrow and made the distant years feel near. I heard the hope inside your voice and wished that I could keep it there. We talked about tomorrow like love could lead us anywhere. Maybe dreams are only stories until we share them with someone. Maybe hope begins to feel real when two hearts imagine one. Every future sounded right with you. Every unknown road felt safe. I did not need to know the ending if you were walking there with me. We talked about tomorrow until the sky began to change. You rested your head against my shoulder as morning found the road. We talked about tomorrow and believed we had all the time.
We stopped beneath the corner light, the one we passed most every night. The road was empty after midnight, the city resting far behind. You looked along the quiet street, then turned and smiled at me. You said this place felt different now because of all our memories. We talked about the coming years and places we might someday see. Then you pointed to that little light and made a promise quietly. We made a promise under that light to meet there years from now. No matter where the road might lead, we would remember how we made a promise under that light and held the moment in our hearts. The signs might all be different, the buildings might be gone, the road might carry other people long after we moved on. But we would know the place somehow by how the evening felt, by every step we once had taken, and every word we shared. We promise under that light to walk that road again, to bring our older dreams together and talk about where we had been. We made a promise under that light, as if nothing could ever change. Maybe promises feel easy when love is warm and new. We never thought the years between us could change what we believed. You said, come back here with me when all our distant roads were done. I smiled and placed my hand in yours and promised I would come. We made a promise under that light while morning waited in the sky. You leaned your head against my shoulder and watched the last car passing by. We made a promise under that light and thought our love would last for life.
You came a little later that night. The road was quiet as before. I stood beside our usual place and watched the passing cars. At first I did not worry, you were never very late. I counted windows in the dark and waited by the road. The minutes moved a little slower, the evening air grew cold. I checked the time and looked away and told myself you would come. You came a little later that night with tired eyes and hurried steps. You smiled
something in your eyes was looking somewhere far away. We started down the same old street, but walked without our usual pace. I slowed my steps to stay beside you. You kept looking straight ahead. I asked about the week ahead. You answered with a quiet voice. The plans we used to make together no longer seemed to have a place. We were walking different roads, though our footsteps shared one street. You were moving toward tomorrow, I was holding yesterday. We were walking different roads before either one could say. The shops were closing one by one. The traffic faded into night. I tried to tell an old story, but you had heard it all before. You spoke about a distant place, a life you wanted somewhere new. I listened while the road between us slowly opened into view. We were walking different roads, though your shoulders stayed near mine. You were searching for another life, I was trying to save ours. We were walking different roads, and love could not match our pace. Maybe no one chose the distance, maybe nothing went completely wrong. Maybe hearts can change direction while two people carry on. Your hand was near, but not with mine. Your voice was warm, but far away. I knew that if I reached for you, you might not choose to stay. We were walking different roads. When we reached the corner light, you turned toward a road without me. I stood beneath the fading sign. We were walking different roads, and I finally understood. I reached the corner before midnight. The street was colder than before. Our little light was still above me, shining softly on the road. I thought that you were running late, the way you had the week before. I watched each shadow in the distance and listened for your steps. The buses passed and disappeared. The shops turned off their lights. I held my hands inside my coat and told myself to wait. You never came that night, though I stayed beneath our light. I watched the empty road for hours, hoping you would come in sight. You never came that night.
night, but I could not walk away. I remembered what you told me, that we would meet there years from now. No matter where our roads had taken us, we would find that place somehow. I wondered if you had forgotten or simply changed your mind. I tried to think of every reason that would make the waiting kind. You never came that night, and the road grew still and pale. Every distant pair of headlights made my hopeful heart awake. You never came that night, and morning found me there alone. Maybe promises grow quieter when two hearts begin to change. Maybe some goodbyes are spoken without a single word exchanged. I kept our promise by myself until the sky began to fade. I stood beneath that little light and watched our future slip away. You never came that night, so I finally left our place. I walked the road we knew together, with the cold against my face. You never came that night, and I stopped waiting for you.
I took and rode the road that morning of you, to miss the light where I had stayed. I thought a different way might help me leave the night behind. The city moved like nothing happened. The buses came and went. People hurried past each other while I walked alone. I passed a shop you used to notice, a cafe where we stopped one day. A song was playing through the doorway, the one you used to sing. Every street reminded me of you. Every corner held a moment. Even roads we never walked somehow brought you back again. Every street reminded me of you. No matter where I turned, I try to watch the morning traffic. I try to think of other things, but someone wore your favorite color. Someone laughed the way you did. The smallest details found me, a window, a passing train, the sound of footsteps close behind me made me turn again. Every street reminded me of you. Every light became a picture. Every stranger from a distance looked like you for half a second. Every street reminded me of you. then left me there alone. Maybe cities keep our memories in places no one else can see. Maybe love can leave an echo long after someone leaves. I changed the road, but not the memory. I changed the hour, not the ache. I could avoid our little corner, but not the life we made. Oh, every street reminded me of you, but I kept walking through the city. I let the memories come and go without asking them to stay. Every street reminded me of you. Still I found my way back home. A few more weeks had passed me by. The days were warmer than before. I took the road I used to avoid and did not turn away. The corner light was still there. The pavement looked the same. The city moved around that place without remembering our names. I thought my heart would stop again the moment I arrived, but all I felt was quiet air and evening by my side. I could walk that road again without waiting for your footsteps. I could stand beneath that light and let the silence simply be. I could walk that road again without losing myself in you. Past the place where we first talked, the street where you once held my hand. I saw the road where we had promised to return there years from then. The memories still followed me, but they no longer pulled me back. They moved beside me for a while, then slowly let me pass. I could walk that road again and breathe beneath the evening sky. I could hear our old conversations without asking myself why. I could walk that road again and keep on moving toward home. Maybe healing is not forgetting or leaving every trace behind. Maybe it is carrying love without letting it stop your life. The road was still the same, but I was not. The ache had softened with the years. I stood beneath our little light and felt no need to disappear. I could walk that road again and thank the past for what it gave. I let our younger shadows fade without wishing they would stay. I could walk that road again and and leave with peace inside my heart. Some nights I think about that corner, the little light above the road. I wonder if it still is shining the way it did so long ago.
Sometimes I pass a distant street and think I see that place again. The years have carried me much farther, but some roads never really end.
Do you still remember that light, the place where we once made a promise?
Do you still remember that road,
the nights we thought would never change?
do you still remember that light,
or did it fade when we let go?
I still recall your quiet voice,
the way you asked me to return. I kept that promise in my memory,
even when the years moved on.
Sometimes I wonder if you waited, or if
You never went there again.
maybe you found another road and let our little promise end. Do you still remember that light,
When the evening turns to silver,
do you still remember my hand, the way it rested close to yours?
do you still remember that light?
Or am I holding it alone?
Maybe memories choose their moment and find two hearts at once.
Maybe love can cross the distance without asking to return.
Maybe we stood there in memory together,
beneath the same forgotten light.
maybe our heart grew quiet too,
When that old road crossed your mind. Do you still remember that light? I no longer need to know.
I only hope that somewhere in you
Those nights
still softly glow. Do you still remember that light?
because I remember it
With love.
I used to wonder where you went and who was walking by your side. I pictured every distant city and every life you might have found. For years I wanted an answer, a reason you had turned away. But time has softened every question I carried from that night. I do not need to find you or hear the story of your life. I only hope the years behind you have treated your heart well. I hope the road was kind to you, wherever it carried you. I hope you found a place to rest, and someone who could understand. I hope the road was kind to you, even though it led away from me. I hope you reached the distant places you once described beneath the light. I hope your mornings came in gently, and your dreams no longer felt far. I hope you learned to trust tomorrow without the weight of our goodbye. And when an old road crossed your memory, I hope it made you smile. I hope the road was kind to you, through every turn you had to take. I hope the world gave back the warmth you always gave so easily. I hope the road was kind to you and brought you where you needed to be. Maybe love can change its shape without becoming something less. Maybe letting someone go can still be an act of tenderness. I can love you without calling you back. I can remember without holding on. What we had still matters to me, but it no longer keeps me still. I hope the road was kind to you. That is enough for me tonight. I stood beneath our light once more and thanked you for the years we shared. I hope the road was kind to you, as I finally followed I stood beside the road once more, beneath the light we used to know. The evening moved through passing cars and carried distant voices home. Nothing there had really changed, the pavement signs, the quiet air, but I no longer felt the need to wait and hope you would appear. I thought about the nights we shared, the longer roads we used to take, the promises beneath that light, and every choice we could not make. I followed the road ahead without turning back to find you. I let the old life fade behind and face the open night. I followed the road ahead with all our memories beside me. I did not leave because I forgot, or because our love meant less. I left because the time had come to let my heart move on. The road was quiet under me, but I no longer felt alone. Every step became an answer, leading somewhere on my own. I followed the road ahead, past every place that held our story. I carried what was warm and true, and left the pain behind. I followed the road ahead, toward a life I had not seen. Maybe endings are not empty, maybe they are open doors. Maybe every road behind us helps us choose the road before. I left the light, but kept the love. I left the waiting where it was. You will always be a part of me, but not the reason that I stop. I followed the road ahead as morning touched the distant sky. I did not know where it would lead, but I was ready now to try. I followed the road ahead, and finally called the